Welcome, everybody, to the KTG podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Martin, and I'm here with the one and only Haylen the GOAT Washington. How you doing, man?
Good. Nothing much, man. Living life.
I love to hear it, man. So here on KTG podcast, we like to do a thing where we allow the guests to brag about themselves a little bit. I believe self-confidence is something that everybody should have, and we don't really speak on our accomplishments. So go ahead and list off some accolades.
Hey, man, you already said what needed to be said, man. GOAT. You feel me?
But what makes you the GOAT, man? Let the people know, like, why do you have that name? What makes you the GOAT?
I mean, I know we bragging on ourselves, but I ain't nothing special, man. You feel me? I like to take pride in a lot of things that I do because people told me I couldn't do things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm one of those people whole life, you know, wasn't told that you wasn't going to really reach this level of dominance and your passion and your sport. And I reached it, kind of got it took from me with an injury in junior college. And I still remember sitting in a hospital bed. Doctor told me, he was like, you'll be able to play, but you'll never be able to play, like, you know, at a high level. Again, you know, this is a rare injury, this and that. And I sat out for 2 years and worked my butt off, man. And I'm here.
Well, before we get into that, since you don't want to brag about yourself, I'm gonna do it for you, man. Y'all are tuned in to the leading scorer, Coastal Georgia history. Put up the most points in the game, averaged 20 points a game at Coastal Georgia, 1,000-point player in 2 seasons. What else am I? NAIA All-American, professional athlete, played in Columbia. I don't really know too much about your JUCO stats, but I mean, you had to go crazy to get D1 offers there.
Yeah.
And that's when the injury happened. We'll get into that a little bit later. But y'all see what we're dealing with here, man. He's a dominant force on the court, someone to be reckoned with. But yeah, let's get into how you started to fall in love with the game of basketball.
Okay. Falling in love with the game of basketball. I mean, you know, the people don't really know yet, but I ain't have no choice. You feel me? My mom is a coach. My dad is a professional player. Played, well, half a season. He actually had his share of injuries, but played a half season in the league. Then played for 14 years in Europe.
So you really didn't have a choice. You really didn't.
Didn't have a choice, man. Didn't have a choice. I come from a strong background, athlete family, and most of it is driven by basketball. So a lot of people don't know. They see my dad was a basketball player, was a pro. My mom was the best.
Really?
And you know, that's who I was in the house with. Mom was she was ranked number 3 in the country. She was ranked over Cheryl Swoops. We got news.
What?
Yes, the legendary Cheryl Swoops with the first woman with the shoe deal.
Right, your mom, my Dukes had her beat.
My Dukes was
clap it up one time for my Dukes.
Clap it up for my Dukes. She don't really brag about it. Tell nobody that she was that. Fun fact, I ain't never beat her in 1-on-1. My Dukes was that.
But you beat Pops.
I beat Pops. Pops know it is. He know it's good. He know it's good.
Oh, yeah. Man, that's crazy. I didn't even know your mom was the best player. That's wild that she had to beat Cheryl Swoops out for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, your mom's story is one within itself. If I can get her on the podcast, that'd be crazy. Make that plug for me.
Oh yeah. We have to get her on here.
For sure. So going through high school, I'm sure you're thinking you're a Division I athlete at the time, and you end up going JUCO. Break that down for us, and how'd that decision come about?
Okay, so coming out of, well, we can start in high school, honestly. You know me, like, on a personal level, like, we brothers, but my confidence is 1 of 1. Like, I know I'm that. I've always thought I was that. I knew I was that. So, my freshman year, I did numbers, but they kept me on freshman. Sophomore year, before the season started in high school, I still remember standing. We were by the bus ramp. Our head coach, he stood out there, and I guess that was like his duty station after school. And I told him, I was like, hey, I don't want to be on JV. I'm a varsity basketball player. My older brother was up there, and I just thought I was ready. I felt like I was ready. I proved enough. And he told me, he was like, I don't think you're ready. You need to go to JV, and we'll see how you do there. First 3-4 games, JV, I'm going 30s, 30 balls.
Easy.
I'm looking at him like, bro, I'm ready. Didn't see no varsity, none of it. He told me that, and there's nothing against these guys. I'm still cool with some people, but they were older guys. They were seniors at the time. He told me, he was like, oh, well, our roster's full. We got guys, they might not play, but they're seniors and this and that. And I'm like, so are we really trying to win? You feel me?
Right.
If I'm better than these guys, why aren't I on varsity? But, that's the way high school is. Sometimes, you got senior guys, they have to be on varsity. They can't be on JV. And so I went, and I stayed on JV. Playoffs came. I got moved up, didn't see the floor. Flash forward to junior year, I had a lot of ups and downs. There was another one of those situations where it was senior guys who were good players, but as a senior in high school, they're like, oh, this is my year, this is my team. Da, 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 da. So I sat back in the back.
Took the back seat.
Didn't say much. I caught a lot of heat from my coaches because some of them knew that I could play, but I just had the attitude where it's like, man, whatever, like forget it. And because these older guys, they didn't understand. So I played the whole season like that. I'm not averaging much, maybe like 7 or 8 points. Our leading scorer goes down, and he was like our offense, everything, and scoring wise. And so the very next game, I'm playing it normal, like how I always do, the 7 to 8 per game type of guy. Well, the game gets close. It's towards the end. It's fourth quarter, and I'm looking around. I'm looking at the team, and they
looking at you.
Trey ain't here. Like who going? And I'm like, I know who can get a bucket. You feel me? And so I snapped the fourth quarter of that game. I probably put up like 14 or 15 in the fourth quarter of a high school game. And that's whenever I knew. I was like, okay, it's time to come about. So we had this really big game. The very next game is called Nabisco Night. We were sponsored by Kraft and Nabisco. The people who make the little cookies.
Cookies, yeah.
So they throw them out in the stands. It's a huge night. The gym packs. Man, I went for 32 points on Nabisco Night as a junior, and I never forget it. There's people in the stands. They're like, oh, he can do this. And I'm like, you feel me?
So this is when you start coming into your own. I mean, we can fast forward. So we can fast forward to senior year. I mean, you put up 30 as a junior, so I know senior year you're going crazy.
Senior year, I put up 30 multiple times. It was a lot like kind of. Actually, I wouldn't say it was really like my senior year of college. It was something like it, but not on that level yet. I still had a lot to develop in my game, but I mean, scoring has always been, that's second nature to me. So, I mean, I didn't have a problem with the scoring numbers were there. I still needed a lot of toughness and other things to add to my game. Ball handling was a big one because going from that junior to that senior year, I was 5'5" and coming into high school, 5'2",
right,
5'5", then different levels, and I shot up to 6'2", and they're like, "Oh, this big 6'2" dude, now he throw him in the post." And
right. That's how I was. I was a center in high school. Yeah, exactly.
I'm 6'2" while I'm in the post. but I was so much bigger and stronger than everybody that it just happened, and that took away from like me being on the ball a lot. So that was one of the things I had to develop. But yeah, senior year was smooth. I mean, all state player, all area. I got robbed for player of the year in the area. You know, we're not gonna go into that. Pensacola News Journal don't really like Milton basketball players.
It's all good. We know the truth.
Yeah.
So you talk about how you're an all-state player, and how you had a great senior year, but they took you off the ball. You became like a little post player almost.
Yeah.
Did that affect like your college choices? Seeing that you went JUCO right out of high school.
It definitely did. So University of South Alabama is where my dad played, and that's where he started his career. And so his coach that coached him was actually still at South Alabama. And that was one of the main things. They watched my film, and like we said, the post thing, they're like, oh, can he really be out on the wing at a Division I level and handle the ball, this and that? And I mean, they were like, oh, well, he needs to go to JUCO, develop this and that. So then we started looking at JUCOs, and I mean, Pensacola State, this is where I probably made the very first mistake in my career. I could have went to Pensacola State, and I chose not to. I went to Bishop State, which I'm still eternally grateful for Bishop State and Coach Shelwood with the opportunity that he presented for me. But the JUCO, like the level of respect in Florida JUCOs and Alabama JUCOs is much different. And in Florida, averaging 9, you go in D1.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Alabama, averaged 16, and like was fighting for those D1 schools to come.
Right.
And
did you think going to the school in Alabama had an influence from your dad playing basketball in Alabama?
Definitely. My family, my dad's from Mobile, Alabama, and Bishop State is in Mobile. So I was right there next to my grandma's house, get that home cooking.
Right,
home
okay.
feeling. But I really wasn't at home. I didn't want to be, and that's why Pensacola State was like out of the question, is because, I mean, I don't want to still be in Pensacola. And I didn't know how prominent of a basketball school it was, because to me, growing up there, it was, that's a little old Pensacola.
Pensacola, exactly. Yeah. That's how we felt about Kennesaw State growing up. Before it is what it is now.
But now exactly.
Now we see, like, oh, we could have went to Kennesaw. Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
But so now talk about how you transfer from high school into JUCO. And I mean, I hear stories all the time about JUCO. We see on Last Chance U, some of these kids, they struggling.
And it's like that.
Is how different was it from going from high school, now you're on your own at a junior college?
Personally, I struggled. I wasn't ready. Maturity wise was the main thing for me. I was like I said, my mom was a basketball coach at the school that I went to. She was also a PE teacher. And so I had mom wake me up every day. I'm riding in the car with her to school. And that was my number one problem. After high school, I'm a 3.3 GPA student, and missed one day of all of high school. And I get to JUCO, and it's like, I ain't going to psychology.
Like I don't have to go if I don't. You know what I'm saying? They don't care.
I go to class today.
Right.
And that's something that I really regretted. And just becoming a man. I mean, you got to grow up fast in JUCO. They don't take care of you like. I mean, even whenever we were at Coastal, we weren't really like taken care of, but people catered to us a lot more than they did for me at JUCO. It's really like you say on Last Chance U. It's get it out the mud, man.
Right.
It's a grind for sure.
So you're in JUCO. I mean, you said you averaged 16. You said in Florida you averaged 9. You going D1.
Yeah.
What offers were you getting out of JUCO?
So my biggest ones were I was talking to Troy and Southern Miss. Those were my two big ones, and those were the two that in my mind, the whole time, everything else is like off to the side. And I'm deciding between these two. Well, they're showing a lot of interest. They're coming to games. And then, boom, the injury happens. And so then I started looking at other schools and me doing what I did. And I tell every kid this now. It's like, man, listen, entertain every offer. When a coach shows you interest, you better be interested back because you never know what happens. So I had D2s like Clark Atlanta was a big one, and they were actually third on my list. But I started not answering calls from the coach because, Troy's calling and Southern Miss is calling. And so I remember after the injury, I'm calling Clark now.
Right. Table's turn.
Hold on. Now you want to talk to us?
Right. So walk us through that injury where was your mind at when you got injured? Like, because you said the doctor said you'll never be, you'll be able to play, but you won't be at that high level. Yeah. And I know your goal since birth really was to play at the highest level. So where was your mind at when you saw that you were injured and hearing what the doctor was saying?
I was in a dark state, man. It took me a little while to get out. I ain't gonna lie, I was probably going through that entire process of those 2 years of being out. I was in one of the darkest states of my life, man. I'm talking about I was a public safety officer back at Pensacola State. So, the little rent-a-cop, top flight security of the world, man. And I had to
no shade to the rent-a-cops out there or the cops who patrolling. No shade.
I definitely.
We got different plans for ourselves.
I did it. I respect it, but that that wasn't in the plans. The only thing I knew at that moment was grind. I had somebody. We talked. I ain't gonna throw the name out there, but
right.
I mean, she really, and that's why I'm eternally grateful. I can never hate her. No matter what terms we on, but she really dug me out like every day, like, come on, like, remember who you are type of deal. And so I got back on my grind, started working out, and I'm talking about, like, I'm going at it hard every single day. I got with my dad, me and him, we don't always see eye to eye, but whenever it comes to basketball and grinding, I know who to call and who to go to. Talking about, man, the Kobe routine. We up 4 a.m.
Getting after it.
Yeah. We running 4 a.m. Turn around, get on the court by 5:30. Eat breakfast. Back on it. Again, back on the court. Weights. I'm talking about every single day. So we got back right. I came... made the little trip up to Coastal, and
that's the rest is history. Yeah, that's how we started. It's funny because he showed up to the tryout in like a bright gold dry fit shirt. Oh yeah. and I'm just sitting off the side watching. Like, I'm a red shirt at this time, but I'm on the team, so I'm just watching. And I see this. He's like 6'4", about 215, just pure muscle, cooking. Just killing folks. And I looked at my coach. I said, hey, if we don't get him, we're going to be in trouble. We need to pick this guy up. So I'm glad, you ultimately made the decision to come to Coastal. And we're about to get in that in a little bit. All right, so you ultimately came to Coastal, Georgia. Like I mentioned before, you became a 20-point-per-game player, 1,000 points in 2 seasons. You know what I'm saying? You really showed out. Was it like 40? How many? Was it 43? 43 in that one 41. Game? It was 41. I'm trying to boost you a little bit. But 41 points.
Hey, I missed the layup at the end.
Yeah, but it was 41 points in one game. That's ridiculous. So, I mean, you made the right choice, obviously. Your time at Coastal, you didn't really experience any injuries that I can remember except when your nose got broken. Your nose was broke and your wrist. Oh, yeah.
Both at the same time, man.
Yeah, so let's walk through that. I mean, I remember your nose getting broken, and I mean, knowing you was still trying to play on it.
You know it, man. You know
it. And your wrist. I don't know how you played a whole season with 2 jacked up wrists, but walk us through that because I mean, like you said, you having great seasons.
Yeah.
And I know your mindset is, I'm definitely going pro.
Yeah.
And when those injuries hit.
So that's a big thing. So when we chose Coastal, me and my dad, we were talking, and I was only supposed to be, I think I told you that, I was only supposed to be at Coastal for 1 year, like play that junior year, and then I'm headed overseas. But, I mean, I didn't have the numbers that I needed. It didn't end the way I needed it. Our team didn't do what we needed it to do to show that I could make a team win.
We're not going to talk about that.
But, yeah, man, the wrist went baseline, tried to catch me a little body, and dude flipped me, and landed on both my wrists. Had fractured in both of them, and I mean, I didn't even know. I've watched the game back. We went to the side, taped it up, and
kept going.
We only taped one up. I didn't even feel this when I had so much adrenaline. And so I went out there and played with tape on my wrist and finished the game. And then next day, I just was like,
couldn't move. Yeah, didn't even practice.
Didn't practice. We were on the road still though. We played the first game. I fractured them at Bethel. Next game was at Martin Methodist, and I still remember we were in warm-ups. Y'all were passing me the ball, and I wasn't trying to, because I couldn't catch the ball.
You was letting the ball come to you.
I had to let it come to me, and I'm trying to play. I mean, I didn't miss a game. Felt like I couldn't mentally, because I knew how much I meant to the team, and for the fact that I felt like I needed to stay out there and put up numbers so I could ultimately get to my ultimate goal. But things happened. Came back my senior year, and I mean, I think for both of us that was like a year to always remember. We had the most winningest season in the school's history
at the time. At the time, it got broke. At the time.
Well, regular season.
We turned the program around for sure.
Yes.
Turned the program around for sure.
And but yeah, I mean, we did something that had never been done at the school, turned it around, and I mean, just me and you being the only two seniors, and leaders. It was a magical year for me. I mean, I do like to, but I don't like to all the time. The both about it, but like you said earlier, I was an All-American, first team All-Conference, National Player of the Year, of the week. Multiple Conference Player of the Week, and the Bevo Francis top 50 non-D1 players. I was on that list. So that's D2, NAIA.
That's
D3,
all schools.
All of it included. So it was a magical year for all of us. And I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything. All those D1 offers, I mean, even if they was there, if I can look at what I had now and going back there and say they never pulled those offers, I'm going back to Coastal.
Staying back to Coastal. Right. So before we jump into your pro career, I want to touch on that 41-point game again.
Oh, yeah.
We saw it happening. It was like a 28-point game, then like a 35-point game. And we was all looking around like, yo, he's about to go for 40 next game. Like, this man is on a mission.
Yeah.
And sure enough, that man went for 41.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was special to watch, especially to be a part of. Because you had, mind you, it wasn't just 41 points. It was like 41 points and like 12 rebounds or something. It was a double. It was a double-double.
12 rebounds, about 8 assists.
It's flirting with a triple-double. Because I remember, because I think I had like,
you almost had one too.
I had 15, 10, and 8. but yeah. So now, I mean, as you see, his numbers are crazy. And of course, out of college, he got a chance to go on a tour in Colombia.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Let's get right into the pro stuff. You feel me? I mean, this is what it's here for. We kept the grind going. You finally got go on a tour in Colombia. So break that down.
I mean, I got invited to this. It was a tour, and got there. First 2 hours, I get off of. I missed the flight. I got in Bogota, Colombia, and walked out of the airport like I need to find a hotel, and I just walked out about 100, 150 yards. I got guns in my face. And so I'm like, okay,
He's
Colombia,
laughing, but he's serious. He's serious.
Colombia, just like the movies.
Got robbed.
So,
Not even 2 hours in the country,
yeah.
getting robbed
Oh
at
yeah.
gunpoint. That's
Oh
crazy.
yeah. And you know me, I'm not scared of guns or nothing. So I'm
Right.
you
To
ain't
the
getting
boys.
nothing from me. But then it kicked in me. I was like, these folks, they might be a little different than the guys in the States. So I gave it a.
Well, wait. Let's not fast forward past that, bro. I mean, you embarking on a professional journey,
Yeah,
and your
man.
first 2 hours in another country,
First 2 hours.
you getting robbed at gunpoint. Like,
couldn't even call my mama. They
right.
took my phone, man.
So I'm serious. That's crazy. Like, we laugh about it. But, like, I'm glad you're all right. But that could have went way left.
It could have went south because I definitely dropped a few of them. Put it like that. We ain't gonna go into detail.
We don't have to.
We ain't gonna go into detail.
But I'm just saying it could have went way left. It could have went way left, and
it could have went left for me.
And professional careers, we know it. I mean, could be gone that fast. I mean,
could
so
be gone.
Thank God it didn't happen. But did that ever, like, when that happened, did you think, like, after it happened, of course, did you think, like, man, this could have been it? Like,
definitely. Like I said,
not even on a basketball level, just like life in general. Like, that could have been it.
Life-wise, me and my mom had a crazy talk after that. She literally, she was like, I pray for you all the time. Like, even back in when we was in Brunswick, I was doing some crazy stuff, and I always say, like, I'm living off my mom and grandma prayers, man, because I done been in some situations, and I, like, so much pride, like, I don't give nothing up. Guns don't scare me. Nothing scares me. So, I mean, yeah, it's my mom's prayers, honestly. So, yeah, that's the first thing I thought of. I was like, hey, my mom said a prayer for me tonight.
Had to, right?
Grandma, one of them was praying for me, man. Mom and grandma.
All right, so now you're down in Colombia. Talk about how you just got robbed. You finally get on the flight. Was it Cali, Colombia, where you played at?
Yeah. So after I landed in Bogota, all that craziness happened. I flew out the next morning to Cali, Colombia, and that's where the summer league tour took place.
And let's talk about that game. I mean, I know these people don't know. If you want to brag on yourself, go ahead. Again, we do that here.
Yeah. So I mean, it was one of those games. I actually started off there. I was a little jet lagged, I think, the first night I had. But I mean, like I tell you all the time, I feel like I can walk on any court and give you 15. Like,
right.
What level I can go play for the Lakers right now tonight for LeBron. And, I'm gonna get my 15. I'm gonna get 15.
For sure.
I know how to walk into 15.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had about 15, 16 the first night. Really fit in with all the players, the better players, and everybody knew that I was one of the better players, but they didn't know, like, what it was for real.
Right.
So the next night, I go out there, and it really felt like the 41-point game. I mean, everything was falling. I was moving right. I had my legs back. I'm talking about the point to where, you know how I get when I get moving. I'm
right.
As I'm dribbling, I'm
You talking to people, yeah.
And so I'm getting the crowd, they up, and they're going crazy, and so I was just feeling it. I love attention, so when I seen the crowd getting into it and starting to really like me, I was like, okay, yeah.
So tell the people what you end with. What was the stats of that game?
I ended with about 34 and maybe like 10 or 11 rebounds. It was a double-double. I missed 3 shots the entire game. So, yeah.
Y'all see why we call him the GOAT. 34 with 3 missed shots. I mean, I don't care what level you playing at. You get 34 and you only miss 3 shots, you a bucket.
Yeah.
Straight up. Where's your mind at now? Like, I mean, you just dropped 30. Like, let's be real. You almost lost your life.
Yeah.
Next morning, you playing the game, you got 15, and then you drop 34.
Oh yeah, you should know. And, you was the first one I called.
Yeah, so I'm saying,
hey,
so
I'm
like,
with you, I'm like, B is up.
Yeah, so it's like your life could have changed for the worse.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Next, you drop 34, and now you signing a pro contract. So many mixed emotions going on in your mind. You want to let the people in and kind of let them know what you was thinking about.
So, man, I'm just thinking I'm blessed, man. Like God is here. He's answering blessings. These are things that I knew I was deserving of. I worked my butt off, and yeah, I mean that's the only thing I can say is blessed. So, that happens. I finished the tour scoring about 20 at least in every game after that, and it's signing day. And I get presented by the home team of Cali a contract, which was real. It was raw. They gave it to me what they had account wise and everything. It wasn't much, but Cali's always known as one of the better teams. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, the past 2 years they've been in the championship, and so.
So you jumping immediately. You into a good situation off rip.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Money wise, not the best. But as far as my career wise, playing wise, yes, Cali would have been the best. And so I work out with them. I'm starting my training camp with them. And this is before I've signed anything though. Then this other team just starts to creep in. And Cimarrones del Choco in Quibdó, Colombia. And the numbers completely different.
The money was up. Get to that chicken, that bag talk.
I'm like, okay, money talk.
I mean, at this point, it's a business. I mean, you gotta go with the numbers. It's a business.
Exactly. So as soon as they bring that up, I'm like, next morning, like, make the trade happen. I'm hopping on the plane. So I land in Choco, is what they call it, Quibdó, Colombia, and I mean it's a new world. I'm talking about the court. I walk in the arena, the court looked like it's just been like chopped up and all types of other stuff. And they're like, we fixing. I was like, okay, so where are we gonna practice? On this court. I'm like, what are we? And they're like, when games start, the court will be beautiful. Which, I mean, they did their thing. It looked decent. But in preseason, I'm talking about gym. The conditions is crazy. Like no AC. It's burning up in this gym. I'm talking about I can't hold on to the ball.
Hands sweating, everything is hot.
I remember my first practice there. I had a real good guard. He was Colombian as well. His name was William Cabeza. And he reminds me of Canada, almost the exact same player. And just like defensively pesky, strong, quick. And I'm talking about he just taking the ball from me. But I ain't saying he just took, like, the ball slipping, he physical hitting me, and I'm like, come on, man.
I'm hearing excuses.
Yeah.
I'm hearing excuses.
You know me, I need my foul calls now.
But nah. So now you get
completely different, more physical, and it was eye opening to say the least.
So how long did you end up playing in Colombia?
I was in Colombia for a total of 2 months, counting the tour. I was in Quibdó for about a month. So preseason happened. I'm talking about I'm scoring, I'm playing, I'm being Haylen.
Mm-hmm.
Week of the first game, all I'm hearing from the coach is pass, pass, pass. And I'm like, dang, bro, like,
But
yeah, my
you
game
see, you brought me here to
That's what you
score.
got me
Yeah.
here for, right? So, and this is the crazy part, and this is when I learned, like, the business is something, like, they'll do whatever to save face for them
Mm-hmm.
and make you out to be the bad guy. And so, first week of game week, they're telling me to pass and practice and everything. Game day comes. So I'm out here. I'm giving the ball up. I'm passing.
Listening to the coach. Right.
You know? And so I'm hearing, shoot the ball. So I'm starting to shoot a little bit. But the way that the game was played, like I'm bringing the ball down on my man, then I got a double team coming. Naturally, me as a basketball player, like, yeah, I can do the craziness and shoot fadeaways and double teams and all of that. But I'm making the right play. I'm passing the ball to my open man that the double team just came from. And so I'm getting yelled at for passing the ball. They want me to shoot double teams. So I start to shoot a little bit. I missed a few. Sit down. Put me in. Sit down. Put me in. And now I can't get a rhythm.
Yeah. Throws off the game a little bit.
That went on for 3 games. And after that, I woke up one morning with a message from the team's owner, and he was like, listen, I personally brought you here myself. He was like, I know what you can do. Honestly, I think you're the best player in this country right now. But the coach doesn't really want you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, but you the owner? And he's like, I have to do what my coach wants. I put him in a position to be the coach. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And come to find out, when it was time to pay me before I left, the reason that this is happening is because they don't have the money to pay me in the first place. So they make it look like you're not producing.
Oh, wow. See, I didn't know that.
So they get rid of you because you're not producing.
Right.
And I didn't understand it at first until, like, my dad told me. He's like, I mean, even with my background of having NBA on it and then going overseas, that's happened to him before.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, that's an old trick that, like, a lot of teams overseas will do to players when they don't have the money to pay. So I got paid like half of what I was promised.
Jesus.
Exactly. So it was a lot of craziness, man. But I mean, the experience, would I trade it? No, I learned a lot about myself, that I could, like, go off, be on my own, self-love. I was out. The other American got sent home before I got sent home. So
you were by yourself.
Columbia. Yeah, I'm by myself. And so I'm walking around the country, and I'm, like, the city, and, exploring, doing things on my own. And I just found this own self-love for myself, to where it's like, I don't need anybody. Like, I can just go out and just, just me and myself.
Right. So you just finished up playing in Columbia. You woke up to being waived.
Yeah.
And they said that, I mean, they're not paying you, pretty much. Like, you got to get your own way home.
Yes,
where's your thoughts at now? Like, you just had your dreams come true, and then 3 days later, boom, like, it's taken from you.
I'm not gonna lie, like, it hurt. That was probably, outside of me getting hurt in junior college, that was probably the second darkest moment in my life, because I was away. I mean, I'm in this other country. They couldn't send me home. And at first it was me listening to my pops, my agent, all of them. They're like, well, we've been through this before. You stay there, you stay strong until they send you. Like, don't lose, like, the negotiation battle, because what they want you to do is to leave, and then, it's like,
they ain't got to worry about you no more.
Now they ain't got to worry about you. Yeah.
Right.
And so this waiting out process that they had me doing, I was in Colombia without playing for about 2 weeks, bro. So could you imagine, like, they had to pay for my apartment still, so I'm still in my apartment, but I'm not playing anymore. And then I see some of my teammates, like the guy I mentioned earlier, William, he was cool always. Like, he would stop by and check on me every now and then. But then some of the other guys, like, I see them out, and it's kind of like, they like, that awkward,
Yeah.
like we don't really mess with you no more.
Right.
So it's like I really felt alone out there. I would go eat at the restaurant that sponsored the team because I still had free meals there. And even some of like the waiters and the owner, like it was all like a little weird, So I'm getting this weird vibe all around the city. All these people who embraced me when I first got there, and they were excited to watch me play and everything. It just was a weird vibe around there. So I was alone, and ended up. My mom was like, "Listen, force them to pay you." So then, I had to get a little
Yeah, real
ghetto,
business.
just a little,
Real business.
just a little bit. And so I'm telling them, I'm like, y'all looking for people to come in and play here, more players, but y'all can't pay them until I get paid my money. And so that was another part of me. I felt like becoming an adult, a professional, a man, and listen, you need to pay me what I'm owed. So they kept on saying, "Oh, we need revenue from the games." I ended up finally getting some money, and my mom was like, "All right, that's enough, whatever." So she paid for me to go home after they paid me like my check that they owed me. So
goodness, man, shout out to my Dukes, because
yeah,
that's a rough situation.
Yeah.
How you saying that, like, you felt like it was weird around the whole city, like owners weren't messing with you, some of the teammates weren't messing with you? Is that where you start finding that self-love, like when you realize, like,
it really was. So I remember I would talk to you just about every day, I think, whenever I was over there. So just communication with you over the phone, with Coach Watkins every now and then, and my mom and grandma. I think I stayed the course, but that really helped me. But as far as getting out, and like, I would go and learn things. Like, I know about fruit now. Like, I still want to go back to Colombia, and there's my favorite fruit now. They do not have it in the U.S. I think it's only in Colombia. It's called Lulu. You go there, listen, you go anywhere near Colombia, ask for a smoothie, tell them fresa y Lulu con leche. They gonna hook you up, bro. They gonna hook you up.
Oh my goodness, Lulu, bro.
And milk with the ice cream. So,
the boy said he learned a lot. He learned about fruit.
Yeah,
hey, man. Hey, me knowing your diet, that's a plus.
That's a plus,
you learned
man.
a lot.
That's a plus.
So you're back home. I'm saying, you said you learned a lot about yourself, learned how to love yourself, learned a lot about fruits. Let's talk about, the grind to get back to, where you were at, because I know, you already said you was down. You felt like that was one of the most darkest places. You got your dream taken away from you.
Yeah.
So what's the plan now? I know you're trying to get back over there, but like, what's the grind looking like?
The grind is something. It's something serious right now. Recently just got this. We got a house in Macon. Shout out my boy Kyle. We doing it up right now. Like, that's my dog.
Congratulations.
Sleeping in a 1998 BMW in a vacant lot when we was little. To we got a nice house, and he got me, like, right now on some crazy, like, I'm sore as I don't know what. You see me, I'm in a workout outfit right now. We've been going at it. So he got me in the gym, and I'm getting there. I got something coming up. I ain't gonna say too much because
some people we don't want people to speak evil. So on this show, it's all love.
You can't speak evil into it.
Yeah,
but
on this show, it's all love. But we know how it goes. So
we know it's out there.
I'm gonna throw some prayers up for you.
But yeah, I'm gonna be in another country by the end of this month. and just trying to be ready for that opportunity. So
that's what's up, man. That's what I like to hear. I like to, what I'm saying, you ain't give up for a minute.
oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
for a minute
yeah,
you came to Atlanta, tried out for a semi-pro team, and I mean,
yeah,
they got political. We ain't getting into all that.
yeah. We're not
You got
gonna talk
political,
about
and
that.
after that, you was talking about giving it up, and I wasn't trying to hear that from you, man. So I'm glad that I'm glad you bouncing back and you really getting after it.
Sure.
So to conclude this show, I like to ask guests three things they can give people. You know what I'm saying? 3 different tips they can give people on mental health. I mean, you said you were in the darkest places, you bounced back. So what's 3 tips you can give people to help them out?
Number one, always first and foremost, you got to pray your way out of it, man. I've been, like we said, in some dark places. I've had some dark situations where, honestly, I'm not supposed to be here, but like I told y'all earlier, mom's prayers, my grandma's prayers. My mom always say we living on my grandpa's prayers. Rest in peace to him. But prayers that he had back in the day for us. So we all living on prayers, man. So keep praying. You can pray your way out of anything. God work miracles, man. So that's number one. Number 2 is find somebody to reach out to. I personally think and this isn't just us, but I say it because we're the ones who got to put up this fake guard. And like J. Cole said one time in a song, we the ones who got to wear our face backwards and put a frown on before they think we soft. Man, there's nothing soft about, like, opening up to somebody and saying, like, I'm not okay. It's okay to not be okay.
It's okay not to be okay. I'm definitely one that will implode instantly. Like, I'll hold it all in, implode, and it turns to an explosion. So definitely find somebody you can talk to and realize that it's okay to cry, especially as men. I mean, not even just black men, just men in general.
Yeah.
It's okay to cry. It's okay to show love. It's okay to show affection. We're human. You know what I'm saying? We have these emotions in us. So it's definitely okay to feel those things.
Oh, yeah. And the next thing would be, I would say, other than trying to think about how to put it, other than just like, stay in your lane, don't worry about anybody else, worry about yourself type thing. As far as, and that's not saying don't care about others. I mean it as in don't watch what the next man is doing. You feel me?
Like Nipsey said, run your own race, man.
Run your
Peter
own race,
Nipsey,
man.
run your own race. It's your marathon.
Yeah, it's your marathon. There's no right time for anything. Like I've kind of been joking about it with Coach Watkins because he's like, when you gonna graduate? When you gonna graduate? And shout out to that next semester, man. Boy,
oh yeah, big time. Yes, sir. Get the bachelor's. Yes, sir. Congratulations.
But there's no timetable on success. So don't think, because the dude that I graduated with got his own house and his own car and a family, that I'm losing. Like, you feel me? There's your time. Your life is different. We all got different lives. We all have different steps that we take in our lives. So don't ever watch the next man or compare yourself to anybody else. You got a beautiful life. If you here, you still here for a purpose. That's what I got to say for you, man.
Yes, sir. I mean, to piggyback off that last one, man, it's 2 things that I like to kind of live by. It's 2 quotes. One is, you can't expect to eat while watching the next man's plate or the next person's plate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you sitting there watching him eat his meal, your food getting cold.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Or if everybody else around you is eating, that don't mean God ain't making your dish. You know what I'm saying? Or whoever you believe in ain't making your dish. And your food your meal is gonna be properly made just for you. And that's all just in timing. And to add another one, I mean, you mentioned it a lot. Just having a good foundation around you, a good friend group, family group, just having a good support system with you, that means a lot. I sometimes I get down on myself, like, because I know I have a good support system, and I thank God for it. But if I fail, or if I feel like I failed, I feel like I failed them, when really that's not the case. They still trying to lift you up. So definitely having a good support system and some good people around you, good energy around you, that's definitely a positive. So.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, guys, this is Mr. Haylen Washington. I appreciate you coming on here, telling your story. You said some things I didn't know, and I mean, we've been tight since you stepped on Coastal Georgia campus, going to the Popeyes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I mean, it was definitely a pleasure having you, man, and best of luck to you with your next journey, and congratulations on the house. Congratulations on getting that degree finally. You know what I'm saying? There's big things coming, man. So I really do appreciate you. Really do appreciate you coming on here.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.